everybody. Welcome back to Booze and News, Entertainment News with Albert DeLeon and Jonathan Fleischner. And today, Albert, we're going to talk about something that I think is really important in the realm of entertainment news. And this has to do with a little film that was released recently by Zach Snyder. So Zach Snyder, as you know, and most people probably know in American culture, he's big pop culture director, was the guy who directed the DC movies like, Superman or Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, Justice League, and all that, right?
Right.
And anyway, recently they put out a director's cut of his for the Justice League movie. And it is pretty radically fucking different than the original movie. There's whole other plot subtext, and he tries to really set this thing up to franchise. You know what I mean? To have like these movies that interconnect with like these dream sequences, right? And there's a lot of spoilers in here if you guys haven't watched it, but you know, he tries to set up this universe that will continue down this path that was dark and gritty, about one where Superman becomes the villain and enslaves the Earth, you know?
Right.
And the studio, for whatever reason, said, no, we don't want any of this shit, right? And they cut out over 2 hours of material and plot and all these scenes and all this story and completely changed the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And to the point to where he ended up just walking away from the film. And to add to this, at this time, he was grieving over the loss of his daughter, I believe. I forget how old she was, but I think she killed herself.
Yeah.
And he's grieving over all this, and so he just doesn't want to fight with the studio. And so they make this film.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. Poor guy. And I think, this movie, big movie productions have been known to ruin movies in the past, and they don't know, they don't just let the artist do his job, and
right.
They're just, they fuck shit up.
Well, so here's the thing. After watching both movies, I'm not even a DC fan. Obviously, you can see my shirt. I'm a Marvel guy. I've always been a Marvel guy. But I went to watch these because I heard about all this shit online. I heard about DC fans coming out and going, this is the movie we wanted. Right? You gave us all this horse shit. This is what we wanted. And I looked at like the Rotten Tomatoes fan site. The original movie had like a horrible rating by fans and by critics, like in the 30s, right? And then the Snyder director's cut, I mean, we're talking, it went up to like high 70s, low 80s approval rating. That's a big difference in perception.
Yeah.
And it made me think, how much does this happen in Hollywood?
Oh, man. All the time. Like I said, these big movie production companies, they're just run by businessmen that, know God knows how much they know about movies. And
art.
They a lot of times don't care. They just trying to make money. And
no, it's like, hey, how much ad space can we sell in this movie? Let's put some Nikes in there, some Coca-Cola, you know what I mean? Walmart, whatever they fucking can do to advertise in the movie. Because that's what a lot of movies feel to me like, is that I'm just seeing subliminal advertisement, product placement.
Which these corporations should understand that whenever fans will never resonate and never have with those types of movies. They want to see a raw, gritty, they want to see real shit. Comic books are action movies. They're gritty, they're violent,
right.
There's drama. They don't want to see some watered down bullshit. Well, you would think they would.
Yeah, no, and I think I think that was another reason why the movie, because after I watched them both back to back, the first one was like PG-13 or whatever. And it seemed like it was it seemed like the movie, like it's like if you wanted to make a movie for young children, this is the action hero movie you'd make. Instead of making the movie right? That the audience would want to
Right.
see, which is the one that's going to be more violent and more have more story, just more thought-provoking ideas.
Yeah. And they should just make them like that, because when a movie is actually good,
Why do they try
first
to? Yeah, why do they try to make everything for kids? It's
yeah, it's dumb. And when they do that, it gets a bad name on the internet. Then a bunch of people that maybe would have saw it aren't going to see it. And I don't get how they don't understand that. Make it for adults,
well, make
because
it
that's
the.
the best of it.
Why not make it the way the director wants to make it? He's the one
Yeah.
that fucking has the vision in the first place.
Yeah. Mm.
It's weird to me that the studios are coming in going, look, we hired you for this job, but we're gonna micromanage you and do and tell you how to do your job. It's like, well, why the
Isn't it?
fuck? Why did you pay me all this money to direct this film?
It's funny to think about, like, how these guys sit in these meetings and they're probably coked out of their mind, whatever these types of people are doing, and they feel like they have to probably do something, and they have to be involved somehow, and they don't. They really, really don't. People don't want business people involved in this shit. They want an artist, because an artist made these creations. They want another artist to make the movie. They don't want a guy in a suit being like, don't do that. Oh, don't. It's like, no, let the fucker do it like a comic book would be done.
Yeah.
Let one guy make it and have his vision be on the screen. And it's like a comic book, the way it should be. They don't fucking get that, because they're on coke, probably coked out of their minds.
Well, but
they're like, I gotta fucking tell this guy to stop doing something, because that's my job.
I think that this is the problem with it. There's a couple of things. There's some really good news that came out of this story, but it also sheds a lot of light on the bad part. To what you're talking about, we have a bunch of people, executives in film companies, that are making decisions for movies, not trusting the director to do his job, right? Or the writers to do their job, because they're going to come in and go, well, we need more product placement, right? We need this film. Also, they're going to go, I don't care about if the fans like it or whatever. I just want the most people to buy it. So they'll go, if that means we got to make a PG-13 movie, that's the best way. Because if it's R, they're going, well, then now children won't watch it or whatever. But what they've done, actually, is just make a movie that the fans don't want. So really, what happens is now, they're probably going to go watch it, and so you're going to get their money, but they're going to fucking hate it and talk shit about it online. And it's actually worse for your brand than making a movie that was good, that they're going to go home and talk about and go, I can't wait for the next one. That's the funny thing, is that now that they've done this, Albert, with the director's cut, now they're coming out and fans are going, I want to see this movie's director's cut. Now it's Pandora's box.
The most high-grossing comic book character movies, like the Batman movies with Christian Bale, and the fucking Joker movie that came out a few years back, which was violent and gritty as fuck.
It's a gnarly movie.
Records.
Yeah, it's a gnarly movie.
Of the amount of money they make. And so how can a movie producer sitting in an office with the next guy to film another comic book movie, who the fuck is hiring people going, you need to make it for kids? Haven't you fucking seen what happens when you do that? It goes nowhere.
Well, there is rare occasions of it popping off. Like, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of one of those, they go, oh, look, we have a movie that kids and families watched.
Because that's based off quirky characters, and they can kind of get away with it. But with Batman, Superman, these are gritty, dark, raw, angry characters. They need to make this for adults.
Well, but his story was really good, man. And I really just can't get over the fact that me, person who's not a DC fan, I went back and watched, and I went and watched them all just to get a really good take. And what he was trying to do with this, he was having these characters having nightmares in his early movies. And those were flashbacks or whatever for the movie. And he was setting up this big fucking epic, story. Epic story. And they just quashed that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what the fans wanted to see. They're like, yes, this is the epic story. Don't you? That's what storytelling is, right? Like think about
Right.
like Lord of the Rings or any of that shit, right? It's Star Wars, right? The reason why people are so into it is because they love the epicness. They don't want you just to Star Wars fans. It's this all is interconnected because you get people and I think the movie studios go, well, if we just slap Star Wars on this, every Star Wars fan is gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the problem is that doesn't mean that they're not thinking that, well, if it sucks, we're making the brand worse. They're thinking in the short time of, oh, we're just going to sell some more tickets.
I completely agree with you. You know, it reminds me of actually the job I was doing when I was teaching defensive driving. My boss, everyone that would take the live class, there wasn't that many people doing the live class anymore. They were going to do it online because it was advertising that it was faster. You can do it at home. And then everyone that did it online hated it. They said it was boring, all this crap. And I was talking to my boss and said, you know, you're doing yourself injustice by not having them come to the live class where they're actually going to have a good time and just trying to make the quick buck and have them go on your course. Now they're going to think comedy guys are meant to drive in, and they're going to be like, fuck that shit. You know, instead of just trying to build your fan base and build and keep them there because you make a good product, you're like, no, I want that quick buck. I want the quick buck now. It's like, they're going to remember, and they're going to tell people. They're going to go on the internet, spread the word.
That's right, and it's going to make it. You're making your product shittier, and that's going to negatively hurt you down the road because then now people are going to go, yeah, I did this. It sucked. So you eventually get from where you have a product that does sell to a product that doesn't sell anymore because nobody likes it enough to speak good of it.
Yeah.
And
I don't get it.
But
don't make comic book movies it needs to be made for an adult, and the kids are going to see it anyway.
Right, and the other thing is, like I said, this opened up Pandora's box, and let's wrap on this. Why the fuck would the studio allow them to make this movie? Were they that arrogant that they thought that nobody was going to like the director's cut? Because now the fans, even the actors, are coming out going, yes, restore the Snyderverse. Let's make the movies he wanted to make. Fuck you, because there was no plans to make those other movies. They kind of killed it.
You know what? I always wonder who these guys are, because if they're fireable, if I owned a production company and I had 4 guys watching over a movie and watching over the director, and my movie flopped, I would fire those 4 fucking dudes. Like you work in the movie business, you should know, how does a movie work? You make it good. You make it for the art, and people will go and follow it to the end of time. You don't go in it for the money. And they're still doing that shit, and it's mind-boggling because it's like, why would you just wasted money? You wasted all these actors' time. Everyone's going to laugh at the movie now and call it a piece of shit forever. Yeah. And you did nothing. You accomplished absolutely nothing.
But what I think is, now that they've opened the Pandora's box, Albert, and they have allowed the director to put the movie out that he wanted, and we saw it was so good, now, as fans, we're going to sit here and go, no, I want that. That's what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? I hate it when there's controversy about a movie not being good, like a big movie like Star Wars, and there's already talks.
Well, but isn't that weird that we always blame the directors for this shit, and it's mostly probably the studio.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess every movie is different. Yeah, it could be both.
It could be both, but when I think about it, I mean, how many times is it probably that, right?
The part that pisses me off, this is what pisses me off about these comic book movies, these big movies like this. People talk online months before, and people can pretty much tell you it's going to suck. And people are like, okay, I'm still going to go spend my money, though. Now, when they do that, they tell the studio, got them. We can make it shitty all the time. They're going to spend their money no matter what. This is why I believe in critics. This is why I will always look at my credits and read shit before I go blow my money on some fucking movie.
Yeah.
I'll wait for it to come out on whatever and rent it, but I'm not going to go blow the $20 for the ticket when it premieres just because it has a title that I like, even though I've heard nothing but shitty things about it. Yep. That's why they keep doing this shit.
And
people need to listen to other people's opinions, take their word for it. Stop thinking you fucking know everything. Save your fucking money. And I think it's so arrogant to think, oh, I'm still gonna go see it. Okay, watch them make another shitty movie, and it's gonna be on your hands. When people do that, it's on the blood's on your hands. You should have fucking listened to your brothers and your sisters, but instead you believe the movie production company and you gave your money anyway. You fucked it up.
Yeah, you're right, and I agree with you.
But people, people don't do that.
And I
people
gotta
don't do that.
I gotta wrap on this, but yeah, I agree with you.
People,
I just think that a big problem is that people like me even sometimes enjoy a good train wreck as well. So
unfortunately, my friend, you're kind of part of the problem.
Part of the problem, but no, I get it. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think it's interesting. I think that because of this, we're going to see an outcry for more fans to want to see director's cuts and to see the original director's vision. And we'll see what happens. I think by allowing this to come out, the studios have kind of fucked themselves out of sheer arrogance. So
I haven't watched a movie that hasn't had a passing score for Rotten Tomatoes, and I can't remember when. And I haven't been disappointed since. I come out of that theater like that was worth my time. I won't fuck with nothing that gets below a fucking 60.
Well, that's the wisdom that Albert lives by. Everybody, all right.
It is, and anyway.
Well, anyway, cheers. I hope you guys enjoyed entertainment news, and we'll see y'all next time.